Hey everybody, it's that time again. Welcome to another episode of Fireside Mentoring. And as you can see, I actually lit the fireplace this time. We'll see how long it goes before the fan kicks on. But anyway, what I wanted to visit with you about today is something that comes up over and over and over and over and over again. And that is, what are the daily activities that we do that keep a business moving forward? And so I want to reintroduce to you the 631 success schedule. And it never fails at any time somebody feels like they're slowing down a little bit in their business, or they can't figure out how to get momentum, or they can't figure out how to find builders or anything like that. Almost invariably, if I get somebody started and referring back to their 631 success schedule, within just a few days, that sense of momentum starts to pick up again. And so just to review what this is, in fact, I would be as bold enough to say that if you were operating your business from this little notebook alone, you would have the ability to build your business, and quite effectively, about knowing what to do and when to do it, and the types of activities that are effective. A lot of us stay really busy, but we might not be very effective at all in that process, because the activities that we do might just be busy work, for example, instead of things that actually move the business forward. Advancing ranks, for example, is not about the amount of activity you do as much as it is about how effective the activity is that you do. And so oftentimes there's a lot of things that we confuse as working in the business. I got an excellent instant message yesterday from Jenny in Wisconsin, and she pointed out how why is it that when we come across these things, there's a big transition between the point in which we think about doing the business, and then we move into a space where we think we're actually doing the business, which is still a delta from actually doing the business. and so I got a kick out of that. If you think of that progression, a lot of us worry or think about how are we going to do the business, and then we get into this phase where we've thought about it so hard that we actually think that we're doing the business, and that's vastly different than actually going through the activities that make the business move forward. So the way that this 631 came about is Seth came over to my house. It's been quite a while ago now, probably 3 years ago, and basically asked the question, well, what about 2 contacts a day, or that type of thing? And I replied that, when I get up in the morning, I'd simply ask myself a set of questions. And he said, really, what's that? I said, well, the first question I ask myself is, who can I share the oils with today? And I let that guide the activities of my day. And then he went on to question me a little further. He said, what else? And he goes, well, then I'm going to ask myself, well, who have I shared oils with that I need to follow up with? And then he said, well, what do you do from then? And then, then basically I said, well, who's enrolled in my business that I need to explain their membership to, or help them understand loyalty rewards, or make sure that they're understanding the product. And then he said, what else do you do? And then I said, well, then I think about who's using the product, or who do I have that I've already enrolled that may have an interest in exploring the business opportunity. In other words, do they know that doTERRA has an income option? Do they know that can create freedom in their life? And then he said, what else? And then he said, well, by this point I have a group of builders, and so I'm asking myself also, who on my team is building that I need support? And then as we thought of it, we had one more question, and that's what can I read, watch, or listen to that will help me grow as a business leader. And so that became the foundations of the 631 success schedule. As we boiled it down, we recognized that those were, in fact, the fundamental critical activities that make a business move forward. And so now we have that capsulized. So basically, if you want to run with your business, so for example, if you're feeling some sort of stagnation, got to turn off the fan here. If you're feeling some sort of stagnation, then oftentimes we just say, hey, take 90 days and dedicate yourself to the 631 success schedule. Commit yourself. For example, if you go through here, you'll notice that it's set up day by day. And if you put names on the questions, for example, who can I share oils with today? And on this one, I think we reworded it so you'd recognize that you're inviting people to a presentation. So it's who can I invite to a class or a one-on-one. And if you get names on here, and then you go through the next question, who have I sampled or who's attended a class that I need to follow up with, and who do I need to explore enrollment with, who do I need to take through a buyer's guide, that kind of thing. If you get names in here on each one of these questions, then your goal is to get 5 of these contacts checked off each day. And we estimated that if you were getting 5 check marks a day in your Daily Edge planner here, that you would probably be making substantial progress, and especially if you did that consistently over a 90-day process. And I think we have probably 60 sheets or so in here. So even if it was a 2-month highly dedicated stint in your business, then you could make a goal, for example, I'm going to commit myself to the 631 consistently until it's full. Well, then you've done a pretty good boost. Now, for those of you that are at rank, because this is going primarily to the leadership page, which means that most of you watching this are going to be at least silver or above, then there's some context that indicates that in order to keep your business on an upward trajectory, not stagnating in place or plateauing or things like that, or even declining from lack of activity, the key to that, from what I understand from the GoPro people and Eric Worre, he suggests that every significant leader has at least 90 days a year that are dedicated to an intensive burst inside your business. And he said if you do that, if you have at least 90 days a year dedicated to intense, focused effort, then almost invariably that keeps a large team or keeps teams growing. Now, if you're not to where you have the exponential growth, then you need to stay committed to this process, this 631, until enrollments are happening without you. In other words, you have a leadership base, or at least 3 lines that are actively teaching on their own. Then you probably have a little bit more luxury to do a 90-day burst annually, while maintaining consistency. Or still, I can't underemphasize how important it is to stay consistent in your activities. But periodically, for growth and momentum takes intensive focus. And as you get larger and larger, the residual nature of our business, of course, you could create growth, for example, with 90-day bursts annually. And so that's my tip today. Just to re-emphasize again, a person can build a business with this 631 and teaching the next person how to do the 631. And you pretty much have the formula to succeed in your business. All right, so let's go out. Let's be successful, because as you know, we need 3 million team members by 2025. And with the project of raising up 1,000 great and powerful leaders, because you know that we're going to solve a lot of the world's problems with network, leadership, and capital. And that's where all this destination is leading. Just to put a little side note on that, some of our teams around the world have already begin to explore what that looks like. And I'll probably dedicate another fireside mentoring to what that looks like. What does this big picture look like? Because some of our teams have already started to manifest the power of bringing together your network, building up leaders, and bringing that capital and assembling it and targeting it at specific problems in the world. And we'll do that as another fireside mentoring. So in the meantime, let's go out, let's make the network bigger, let's create more great and powerful leaders, and let's get more capital in the bank. So have a happy and successful day.